remember when I came to Waterloo, my focus was on school and also just making sure I was taking care of myself. But as the world goes, everything is just unpredictable, and my story really revolves around this place. 6-7 months ago, just within that week, first week of September, everything just changed for me. I had a landlord who sabotaged my lease. For everybody's sake, I was homeless for that whole entire time. I remember going to the Tim Hortons because that's the only public place I knew that I could actually hang out. But as time went on, and I really was for sure homeless. I remember for those first 3 days, I was sleeping in this area right now. At first it was on the bench because it was a little bit warm, but you know, it's fall, it has days that are really cold. I had to sleep underneath one of the bridges on that side over there. Life was just terrible at that point. I just didn't know what to do, but it was more about what I was really going through internally. I was going through it, man. I was suffering from suicidal thoughts. I was suffering from like lust and all that kind of stuff. I was pretty deep into the world. One of the most impacted thing in my life was that like I have baby sisters that I really love, and like if I were to leave them, like they're not gonna have like a big brother, they're not gonna have anybody, and I really wanted them to look up to me. So I was really fighting like the urge to just like, in my mind I was just like what else can I possibly do? Like they're probably way better without me. It was just like the worst like internal battle that I had. It wasn't until like I was so close to actually go along with that thought, and I remember just thinking to myself that like if I really stay a little bit longer, like if I'm strong enough just to push through it tomorrow, maybe things will look a little brighter. Sleeping in one of the bridges over there, I remember just being under there, and I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna survive a week, but I just had this like trust in me that like I'm not gonna be here any longer. So I wrote my initials there, say Panashe was here, and I underlined where it said was. I think the reason I did that, to this day I don't know why. I tried to tell myself, oh, maybe I trusted myself to say that I won't be in this situation, but it was my lowest I've ever been, and just thinking about it to this day just like hurts a lot. But you know, God works in mysterious ways. I remember on the third day where I was contemplating with my life and all the thoughts that I had, that I saw people with green vests that said City Impact on them.
Yeah, this is it. This is the first place where I met Panashe. I remember it was a Tuesday. We were gearing up to just serve the students on like King Street. It was about cutoff time for the whole entire event, but a group of us were like, no, we still have Welch's and we still have water bottles left. We gotta go back to this room. We have to hand out all of them. So I went with that group that said that. And yeah, when I was passing the Tim Hortons, I see this guy who's sitting on the rock that was out there. It was like a big boulder. It wasn't like really on his phone or anything like that, which is what I would assume for someone who's kind of like on his own, but he was kind of just like looking out, and we made eye contact.
She's definitely, and she kept like smiling, coming to me, and I'm like,
the Holy Spirit just kept on prompting me, like, hey, go talk to this person, just give him an invite to church. And I was like, hey. And the story of the Good Samaritan actually popped up in my head. You don't want to be like the priest, and you don't want to be the Levite who'd kind of just pass by that person. Turned out his name was Panashe, and my name is Panashe. Not many people know that, but my first name is Panashe. And what I love about that name is it means where God dwells. So I shared with him like, hey, my name is Panashe also. That's kind of not a coincidence, because I don't really believe in coincidences.
She gave me this blue card that said good news on it, and she's like, you should definitely come to church on Sunday. And I was like, yeah, I'll think about it. But my intention back then was not really to come to church, but that invitation really came from a place of love. I could tell that these people cared.
He seemed kind of hesitant and was like, oh, I don't know, like, I'll think about it, we'll see. And I was like, okay, we'll see if he comes to church. On Sunday, I went to our morning services, and I see this guy there, and I was like, oh. So he did decide to come to church. That's so exciting.
People were just like so welcoming and like just amazing, but I remember having conversation with one of the host teams, just like revealing me what the church is all about, how the people come together, how we're all a community, something that I really needed. But it was like as if I was seeing it from a third person point of view, like this, someone deserves this, but I didn't think I did. It wasn't until I went to evening service, which was a blast. I had almost forgotten that I was going through all that. But it wasn't until I was helping doing like the chairs and just putting things away that I really fell in love with the whole community, because people, they had that togetherness. People just sticking together, just talking together. Family on three. 1, 2, 3, family. Living like they're like brothers and sisters, and I really needed that. It's something that I was craving because I was really alone. And
then I go to evening service and I see Panashe there as well too, and he's helping to set up chairs. And I remember watching him during rehearsal, and I was like, God, who is this guy? He definitely has a heart for your kingdom. This is an amazing story.
I could have ended up on the worst end of this situation. I could have just gave up on myself. But deep down in my heart, I know God never really did. And me meeting Kimberly, who also his name is Panashe like mine, that was not a coincidence. And I know I don't pray to a God of coincidence. I know that for a fact. So he really put her in my way to really help me out from the situation I was in.
We underestimate the power of an invite. We're not just inviting someone to come to church. We're inviting them into a relationship with Jesus. That's the reason why we exist as a church, to show people what that actually looks like to live that out. We have the greatest gift that you could ever imagine to give to anybody. We learn how to love through Christ's sacrifice for us, and then we get empowered by the Holy Spirit to go share that with other people. So I think, yeah, it's beautiful.
Looking back at it now, I just don't know how I got out of that situation. I know for a fact that God really worked for my life, but what he has done for me in these 6 months, 7 months that I've been at base is way more than I've actually had done for me ever in my entire life. Anyone out there who's ever just feeling the hope is not there anymore, I just want this to be a perfect example of how life can be on the other side. The grass is perfectly green when you're walking with God, for sure, on the other side.